Yeah. What's going on, everybody? All right. So let's get into this thing, man. It's the Sylvester Stallone cut, Rocky versus Drago. What was that? I don't know. Oh, it's been a day. Rocky versus Drago. So the way that this is a spoiler-heavy review, by the way. So if you haven't seen the movie or you don't care about spoilers, then stick around. If you do and you've seen it, it's available now. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Apple. It's on Amazon. It's everywhere. I watched it on Apple. I bought it. I figured, I might as well have it. I'm a massive Rocky fan, as a lot of you may know, may not know. I don't know. If you're brand new to the channel and you're checking it out, then head on over here to subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification, please. All right, let's do it. So Stallone had mentioned not too long ago, probably about a year ago, he started working on this thing during the pandemic where he's going to do a couple of things here and there, and he wanted some work to do, keep himself busy, and he started just kind of really getting into Rocky IV because he figured how he was as a filmmaker back in 1985 or whenever he was making it, and I think he was in his late 30s, early 40s when he was making it, and he said he's just so different as far as what his ego was like back then. And remember how big of a movie star Sylvester Stallone was back in 1985. So he even said it. There was vanity inside of some of the shots that he did, and the whole thing kind of played like a music video. So he wanted to turn, and it was more kind of fluffy, cotton candy 80s movie stuff, and he wanted to get away from that and turn it more into a drama. So a lot of that is there. The drama side of it, right? I like this. I like this version. For me, and I had mentioned this earlier on my other show, Rocky 1, 2, and 3 are my favorites. I think that those three movies I can interchange and always say, okay, today 3 is my favorite. Today's 1 my favorite. Today's 2 is my favorite. I love them all very much so. 4 to me was always a matter of once you get to the fight is great and all the stuff leading up to it. It's a lot of fun, and obviously even the lead up to Apollo's death and everything that they're doing. And Drago is very one-sided. He is this kind of black and white villain, it seemed like at the time. He's just kind of a machine, where he was saying he's talking about Rocky, saying he's not human, he's a piece of iron. All of that leading up to it, it was fine. It was never my favorite. It was a short movie, but I liked it. This version, it does give more depth, and there's a lot of stuff that he does. In the original version, it starts with Apollo and him in the ring after that big moment where they say, after this, you're going to owe me a favor. And so they have the thing, they punch each other in the head, they go back, and the son has the video camera, and he's telling him, he's like, your head looks like a catcher's mitt. It sets up the son and dad relationship right away. That's gone. All that's gone. He brings back a lot of Rocky 3 in the beginning. A little too much. And I said the reason why I think that he did it is because you can't just assume that people remember Rocky 3. The movie was over 30 some odd years ago, whatever it was. So what he was trying to establish in the beginning of this thing, where he shows after he gets beat by Clubber bad the first time, and then Apollo shows up and tells him, let's get back, let's do this, and then the fight, and then he wins, and he changes the music at the end, and he puts Sweetest Victory at the end. I didn't like that change either. And he jumps up and he wins, and then it cuts to Apollo in the pool. I like the longer scene of Apollo watching. There's that scene in the original cut, but it's brief. He's with the dogs. He throws the thing and the tennis ball, and then he gets pissed off and he wants to move into it. They're really setting up. Then he goes to Stallone's house or Rocky's house, and he has a conversation with them. I thought all the stuff that they already had in the movie, the way that it opened, could have stayed exactly the same, and then add that stuff in. I like all the stuff that he added in with Adrian and putting more of the stuff in where she leaves. He has the conversation with her, and Rocky's talking to her about seeing if she's all right, and she's obviously concerned. She's got a bad feeling. All that was great. I think you could have left the original cut the way it was and added all that stuff in. You could have taken out the robot. I get it. The robot is a bit goofy, and if you want, people love the robot, but I understand why you wanted to take it out. It does put a big halt in the seriousness of what he's trying to do. But I think you could have done all the other stuff and put a little of the lightheartedness into it, because he still leaves some of the humor with Paulie a little later on during the movie. When Paulie falls into the snow and falls a few different times, and there's a couple of lines that Paulie has. So getting rid of the robot stuff, that's cool. adding more agent stuff is great. He completely gets rid of everything with Brigitte Nielsen. And I don't know if that was a thing. Some people could say that it's because maybe they had a bad falling out down the line. I don't know, because they used to date. Did they have a bad falling out and he wanted to take her out? I don't know what the reasoning is behind it. I think there's a lot of stuff that she had to do that I thought was pretty significant. I think that if you asked him, he'd probably say because he wants to establish Drago more as his own person, because what this does, and I think does well. So I saw some people arguing against the fact that giving Drago a few more lines, because Drago tries to answer at the press conference in this one, and he even says it at the end. He's more individualized. He goes, "People remember now, Drago," and like, I like that stuff, because what that does for me is that connects us to Creed 1 and Creed 2. It connects that thing to his son. It connects to that scene when Brigitte Nielsen is sitting there and basically won't even talk to him and has this whole conversation with him. I loved all that, because that connects. I didn't think he needed to lose as much as he lost. There's a lot of stuff that he lost that I didn't think was necessary. He talked about in the documentary how he wanted to get rid of like the music video stuff, and they're all in there. The No Easy Way Out it's great. He just turns it black and white instead of anything else, the clips. And then the montages are all in there, and they're fine. They're great. I think you could have added more of those scenes. You could have made this, because the movie's still an hour and a half, because he cut so much out. You could have made it 2 hours. And adding all the stuff that he did, I thought he could have added a lot of the scenes and not cut. I mean, he really trimmed a lot of stuff out that I didn't think was necessary to trim. It wasn't the stuff that he added. Some people are having problems with what was added, and that there was too much drama, and he took out the heart of it. I don't think so. I think he did. I think he cut out some stuff. There's some unnecessary cuts too. For example, before Apollo dies, he walks in the original cut. Rocky walks in and he has this conversation with Apollo, and Apollo tells him ultimately at the end, he says, "You'll remember this when it's over. You will when it's over." And maybe even in the beginning, there's a little humor. He's just like, I feel like I could eat nails. And he goes, "Oh, I never tried them before." He's like, "What?" He's like, "Snails, never tried them." He's like, "Nails, nails, stallion." That type of stuff. He cut out all these little lines, and even when they're having their conversation, when they're watching the fight together, there was a little line that him and Apollo had, and I get it. He's trying to go really serious and showing how serious it is, but they did have that dynamic of that little kick back and forth that I thought got lost a little bit. But very similar to the original cut, what this movie is dependent on is the overall fight. He's made the fight's really intense. It's really intense. It goes, and well, jump back to the Apollo fight, right? And I saw this in the documentary. He wanted to give Apollo, because what I liked what he did in this, he gave Apollo a little bit more, because he says it in the doc that his problem, he wouldn't have killed Apollo if he was doing it today. And the other thing that he realized is that Apollo just goes in and gets creamed. And he wanted to show Apollo being this great champion. He's fighting off, and I like that addition to it. That part was great. Like, I like the idea that Apollo's fighting it off. He's just getting overwhelmed by this guy, eventually, because it was awkward. Like, it took a while for Drago to get his footing, and finally he does, and then he just unloads. But he wouldn't just come in there against this ex-champion. I liked what he did in that fight. I thought it was good, and I thought it was intense. Adding to that funeral scene, the boxing commission scene is, I saw where he cut some of it in the original cut. Some of the acting is a little by the commission itself, but whatever, it's fine. It all adds up. The press conference, but the ultimate fight at the end. And what he did in the fight at the end was he took away some of the big kind of 80s sound effects for the punches, and it made them sound more grounded. I like that very much. There are a couple things that he did inside of the fight that I had an issue with. Like, there's a scene when, and I remember this very well, Paulie, when he's getting excited when Rocky starts to come back, he starts rubbing Tony Duke's head. And he's like, yeah, they add that in there twice. It's in the beginning of the fight and at the end, and it's the same shot. And he didn't pay attention to that. And that was so much detail that he's doing. I'm surprised that he missed that. But the fight itself really works, and I like the idea of when he added that little addition to him talking to himself again and getting up, because it ties back into the future of the franchise. In Rocky Balboa, it happens. What'd you tell the kid? Get up. And that's whatever he tells. What'd you tell the kid? You got to tell him about how hard you get hit, and that plays back into it again. It does make me want to see a totally new version of Rocky V, is what it does. And I hope down the line, if you can deep fake Stallone, he wants to do another version of Rocky V, that would be great. But I like this version because I think that it does a lot. I just wish that he would have added a lot of those scenes to the existing stuff. Cut out the robot, fine. Cut out some of the goofiness. He cuts a lot of the kid out. And I understand why he cuts out the kid watching the fight, because when you go back to the 80s version and you compare it to this fight, in the 80s version, when the music's playing, the Vince DiCola score is going, it disrupts it to the kids going, yeah, hit him. And it just gives you that kind of family feel. That's not his intent here. His intent is not to give you that family feel. The intent is to get the soldier in the ring fighting for the cause. And he doesn't want you to feel the family thing. He wants you to feel what Rocky's feeling. So I get all that. Sucks that the kid got cut out of it, but I get it. I like that aspect of it. But I like both versions of this movie, to be honest, when I go back and compare. As much as I thought the fourth one, to me, was always just like, okay, both fights. I think it's fun. I think it's a movie. When I say fun, it's definitely a step down from the fun down meter, if you will, from the 85 cut. But I'm glad it exists. I'm glad this version exists, because this links to Creed 1 and Creed 2, Rocky Balboa, and Creed 1 and Creed 2 way more than the other ones do, or the other one does. So I like the fact that it exists. Was it necessary to do? Probably not. But again, during this time, and Stallone had some time and wanted to put together, hey, it's a fun watch. It's a watch that you should check out, because there's a lot of new stuff. It's a lot of new stuff, and I'm very curious to see what people think about it. So go ahead, and if you're brand new to the channel, once again, please subscribe. Click that notification button. We do a show here called The Big Thing every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We do Sith Council. It's our Star Wars show. I do reviews, reactions. So that's it, man. That's my review of Rocky versus Drago. What do you guys think? Go ahead and comment. Tell me what you think, and we'll see you later.